Yeah, hey. I'm a font addict. Today, it took me a while to come here today. I was walking down the street, down the terrace, and there was fonts everywhere. So, yeah, it just took me ages to get here. And then I come here, go to the toilet, and there's fonts on the posters. And then Adam gave his presentation, and there was a lot of fonts. So I've been sitting there freaking out, not about this talk. I'm looking forward to telling you about fonts. I've been freaking about some of the uses of fonts so far. So, yeah. Tonight, I'm going to be a type geek. I'm going to tell you a few things. I do get myself in trouble a bit with my wife. I go to the supermarket, I go to the beer aisle, and I stand there and I just kind of stare for a while and go, Helvetica, Gotham, Times New Roman, Comic Sans. Sometimes it's there. It doesn't always last that long, but sometimes it's there. And then next, I move on to aisle 2 and count down. That's the cereal aisle. Yep, I know I can hear people in the back thinking about, I'm sure there's Frosties in New Zealand or Weet-Bix. A couple of years ago, Weet-Bix, they changed their font. There was outcry in my house, you know. I looked at the Weet-Bix box and I was like, kids, no more Weet-Bix. And they're like, Dad, why? I'm like, well, they changed the font. And they're like, Dad, what's a font? We're like, okay, yeah. So I said, hey, how about you come to my talk tonight on Trump, sex and Comic Sans, and you can learn about fonts. And then they're like, Dad, what's sex? Okay, and then they're like, Dad, what's Trump? And I was like, all right, okay, cool. So I was like, no. So anyway, I also go to movies like most of you do, or watch Netflix. I watch every movie to the end, right to the end. I watch credits. I have credits on repeat. Top Gun Maverick. Not sure about the movie. The credits, awesome. So if you take one thing away from tonight, that font there is Universe. It's a great typeface. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to give you some useful things tonight. So we're going to talk through, obviously, Trump, what that has to do with this talk, sex, how can Kerning lead to sex maybe, and yeah, Comic Sans, which will be a fun part of the conversation. So there are over 500,000 or 500,000 fonts in this world. There's a lot. You can see there's just some of them. I'm going to give you a few things to use at a quiz night. So there are different classifications for typefaces. We won't go into too much detail, but there's serif, there's sans serifs, there's monospace, there's script and display. Yep. If you're at a quiz night, actually just give me a call. I can help you out. But basically, there's two simple things which I explained to my kids about the Weet-Bix font. There's two types. There's serif and sans serif. So I think it's French. Hopefully I'm right. So sans means without something, so without a serif, and serif means it's got a serif. So serif are basically like the little feet and little kind of bits on the top. And sans serif means someone's come along with maybe a spork or some kind of knife utensil from our talk before and cut it off. So yep, sans serif, great. You can go home tonight and impress probably no one. And then a really, really important thing, which is probably one part of this talk, is kerning. So kerning is a great word. Yep. So kerning means space between letters. So you can see behind me, there's some little things. I spend a lot of my day kerning. Kerning space between letters, and then kind of putting it up on the wall and going, guys, like there's 50 different ones up here. What do we think? And then we all sit around. Most of them have facial hair, not like me, and then we go, that one looks good. So kerning is really important. Do you want to know why it's important? Because things can look a little bit different. If you don't kern things properly, there could be traffic accidents. I'm not sure if AI could read that. There's also where kerning, sometimes this takes a little bit for, to hit the back of the room. So kerning can lead to sex. If you're in Thailand like I was once and you went here to get money, you might come out and, might not have money. Sometimes it can be a good way if you're sick of your kids. So I had 3 kids, I've now got 2. And then the most important thing, which my wife seems to like, is, fonts do matter. So here are two different fonts. Some days when I'm really nice, I write love letters to my wife, like the top one. Other days when I've had to watch some really bad programs on Netflix, I write kind of psycho letters to her. So the same words can have different meanings, and my point is that fonts do matter. So yeah, tonight we're going to go on a bit of a journey. Times have been tough out there, and I know, like, sadly, someone here may have to fire someone, maybe even tomorrow, so I'm going to help you out here. If you do have to go and fire someone, you're going to have the tools to do it properly. Do it with some empathy and some grace. So yeah, it's a question that we ask ourselves a lot. Oh, so what font to use? So do we use Helvetica? Do we use Arial? Do we use Comic Sans? Yep. Do we use, Gotham, Times New Roman. So today you're going to help me out. We're going to have these wee little icons that come out. So green is like, yeah, cool, well done. Yes, definitely use that to fire people. X is like, no. So yeah, I think we should get into it. So first font, Helvetica. I'm sure everyone here has seen it. It is everywhere. It was invented in 1957 in Switzerland. It's fantastic. Designers love it. I dream about it all day. Helvetica is so popular and so mainstream that for its 50th anniversary, there was a movie about it. I mean, come on, like, how much can they do in this movie about, 26 letters of the alphabet? But they did a whole movie, and they had people like me talking about it, and it was fantastic. So, yeah, Helvetica's great. You've all noticed now, because I'm giving you these glasses to put on to look at the world, that you're going to see it everywhere. So Helvetica is in a lot of logos. Car brands love it. Panasonic, GM, a few others. And then, there's a couple of different variations in there. There's italics. So italics, to be simple, is when something's like kind of leaning on the side, like Leaning Tower of Pisa. Yeah, that's a good way to explain it, design school. It rose to prominence in the New York subway system. So in 1989, they embedded it as their font of choice, and it is still used there today. So it's quite neutral, really, really quite simple to read. It's also a little bit kind of cool. So do you think we should use this for firing? Yes? Or no? Oh, mate, you guys are great. Cool, so then the next font looks the same as the first font. Oh, how does that happen? So this is called Arial. It was designed in, I don't know, 1950-something. 1982. I should have worn my glasses. So Microsoft, they, even though they got lots of money, they were like, we want a font like Helvetica, but we can't afford it. So I know, it's unbelievable, but it's true. So the designers went and got Helvetica, and they said, how can we change it enough so it doesn't look like Helvetica? So people in the front with really good eyesight can see the differences, but because I know I need to help you out, here the differences are. Don't worry, there won't be a test on this. So there's a couple of real subtle differences, and once again, if you're on a quiz night or if you're about to fire someone, this is super important. So things like the G, so Helvetica's on the top, Arial's on the bottom, so the G's are slightly different. The Q on Helvetica, it's got a straight line-ish, but off to the side, and then the Q on Arial's quite wavy, but I reckon the easiest way is just look at the T. The T for Helvetica is nice and straight, very Swiss, and then the T on Arial's got a wee cut in it. So that's the way, if you ever, on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and that question comes up, there you go. Thank you. So, should we use Arial to fire everyone? Yes? No? Yeah, we're getting this now. We're doing well. So this is when I leave, eh? Yeah, Comic Sans. So there hasn't been a movie made about Comic Sans yet. There's still time, and I'm sure there might be a nerd night talk on that. Comic Sans, invented in 2004 by Vincent Connier. Yeah, I mean, it's a font that's used everywhere, eh? Everyone knows it. It's classic. It's got these kind of weird childlike forms. But there's a really interesting story about how this was made. So in about 1995, Microsoft needed another typeface, and in this case, they had it was the dog, a talking dog was going to help introduce Windows 95. So they asked Vincent Connier to design a typeface for it. He looked at the talking dog and said, "How would a talking dog speak?" And you know what he said? He said, "Oh, it'd speak like Comic Sans, it'd be fun." So he did this lovely typeface, designed it, it looked amazing. He showed it to his boss, and his boss was like, no. We cannot use that for a talking dog. So they chose Times New Roman. Windows 95 went out there, everyone was happy. This was the start of the digital age and desktop publishing. So within Windows 95 and desktop publishing, there was a couple of fonts. One of them was Comic Sans, and I guess here we are today. So it got released into the world. Everyone was happy, except for these two people. So we've got Holly and Dave Coombs here. So Holly and Dave met on a campus in America. They bonded over, Holly was writing a thesis, not quite sure what it was on, but she wrote the whole thing in Comic Sans. Dave was sitting next to her in the library. He looked across and was like, "Wow, what's that typeface?" And she goes, "It's Comic Sans." And he goes, "I hate it." And she goes, "I hate it too." And then somehow they fell in love. And they ended up, it's a long distorted tale, but basically they ended up forming an institution or a club called, I know, you can't make this stuff up, called Ban Comic Sans. So their mission since 1995, and apologies, I've got some of my dates wrong, was to stop Comic Sans. So there's this thing, there's them, their Facebook, well, it wasn't really Facebook in 1995, but they had stickers, they were out there saying, "Ban Comic Sans, it's awful, it's gross, makes people's eyes bleed." So they were quite mean people. And recently, they've actually come out last year and said, "Okay, let's not ban Comic Sans anymore. We actually feel like we've changed. It's been 20-something years since it's been out. 25 years. So now their website isn't Ban Comic Sans, it's just comicsans.com. They've kind of changed to love it. But yeah, Comic Sans, when we're talking about what a font means, so you've got danger of dying. So Helvetica, Swiss, Clinical, yep, I'm probably going to die if I touch that electricity. Comic Sans, maybe someone's tickling me with this lightning rod and I'm lying on the ground. So we're like, Comic Sans, is it any good for helping people? Well, I don't know. And then you got this. So I took my kids out to around a park last week and they're like, Dad, it's Comic Sans. I'm like, "I know, mate, you're doing well, you passed the test." And I'm like, "There's a line, eh?" So, yeah, I think signs about lines and Comic Sans, probably not a good idea. But where we're heading with this kind of a sordid tale about Comic Sans is really the crux question. So this sign is done in Helvetica as well, which kind of appeases me because it's anti-Comic Sans at the same time. But the question's really, really simple. I'm sure we're going to be unanimous on this, but we're going to have to go through it. Should I use Comic Sans to fire someone? Yes? Or should I, or no? I think we're getting a bit better, eh? You're getting good at this, but... Okay, so Donald Trump, interesting guy. So Donald... It will link to Comic Sans. So Donald had this FBI investigation. He's had many of them. And so he asked his lawyer, Ty Cobb, there with the beautiful moustache, he said, "Ty, can you do a press release about, that I didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing wrong?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So I did the press release, wrote it in Comic Sans. Let's just say it didn't go too well for Donald Trump, eh? So if you highly recommend... No, Donald, don't use it. Well, not for firing someone, but don't use it for press releases. And Ty, that moustache was a bad idea. Should have talked to Nicole and get one of those spoons to fix your moustache. So really, our friend Donald should have taken a leaf out of Barack Obama's book. So Obama used Gotham. So Gotham is this beautiful American font. designed in the year 2000, used for his, predominantly used for his political campaign, was originally designed for GQ magazine. This font is about yes we can, it's about hope, about great things. The designer who designed it was walking around New York, trying to get some reference, and around about the year 2000, he stumbled upon this lovely bit of type, a bit like how when I was walking here today and stumbling upon signs. It was this lovely bit of type at I think it's the New York Postal Building, and it said authority on it. And for most people in this room, that sign's probably not doing it for them, but trust me, mate, it's doing it for me. Luckily, it's dark. Well, I don't know if they edit videos. But yeah, so anyway, this sign has a beautiful X height. So we're going to get a little bit geeky for a second. So X height is the height of the letters. So if there was a letter X there, that would be the height. Yeah, kind of makes sense. So all the letters in Gotham have this natural form. They all kind of fit in really well with each other. So I think it's a beautiful typeface. It was also used on as part of the Freedom Tower. They had a plaque, so they used it for that. So the big question is, Gotham is a typeface. It talks about change and freedom and new beginnings. Do we think this is a good type to fire people with? Yes or no? Hey, mate, we're good. Okay, so a couple more fonts to go. Times New Roman. I'm sure I don't know if most of us know it, but it's definitely a font you've got on your computer. This was created by Stanley Morrison in 1931, originally designed for the Times newspaper in London, hence the name. And then Times New Roman. So Roman is a classification or a type of font, which basically means it's got serifs as well. So this is a serif typeface. There's a couple of things there. It was designed to be more, I don't think the right word, condensed. Basically what that means is you can get more letters on a line, more words on a page. So therefore newspapers, they can print more, in 1931 they were using different types of presses. So they can print less pages and save money. So in the 1930s, fantastic idea. You can print loads of words on the page, really, really good. It's got some beautiful letter forms. Yeah, I just love it. It's got lots of nice little curves. But for us here, what you're really interested in is this was voted the most trustworthy font by the Independent magazine, newspaper in 2016. So we're probably getting really good now. Should you fire someone with this beautiful trustworthy font, yes or no? Hey, that's great. But one thing you should really make sure you don't do when you fire someone. So capital letters look like you hate someone and are shouting. So my boss, one of my old bosses, his keyboard was stuck on cap locks. So it'd be like, he'd write things on Slack at work and it'd always feel like he's shouting, like, please close the toilet door. I'm not shouting, but he couldn't turn his thing off. So yeah, don't use cap locks because it's not a good way to go. And you get it. So things can happen. You might be like, so I'm going to fire someone, and they're like, hey mate, I really want to resign. So at the moment, all the younger people at my work, they've, actually probably a lot of us, been through COVID and stuff like that, stuck inside, and they're all like, I want to go to Europe. So they need to resign, and I'm going to be giving them these tips as well. So if you want to resign, there's a couple of ways you can go. So you can go on the left, I think it's left, Vandana. So this is like a slightly kind of warm version of Helvetica. It's got lots of curves in it. So like my job, write a nice letter in Vandana, and you'll be like, off you go, you probably get a nice reference. Or if you're like, mate, I just hate my job, I don't know. Then, mate, crank out, this is called, here we go, Fette Frank Tour. It's a German Gothic black letter font. Woo. So what that means, like Gothic by itself, it means it's just like a dark font from the medieval time. So hate your job, I recommend writing something in all caps, and that font, maybe doing a red on black, and that would just be awesome. Okay, so we've been through like 6 fonts. We've kind of nailed down what we can and can't use for firing people. We talked a little bit about the what font you choose matters. So, a romantic message could potentially be a unromantic message. We've looked at kerning, so space between letters, and how kerning could potentially lead to sex, and we talked a little about Comic Sans. So there's some other things I want to talk to. So font choice is super important. So, yeah, this was like just a message in my office saying, I think they used the wrong font. Handwritten fonts sometimes feel friendly, sometimes don't work. Something else here that's a bit of miss is the kerning. So I think a tip is just be careful out there and please make sure you use the pen, not the, There's something else that's super, super important is size matters with how you use fonts. So the people in the back will be joining me very shortly for free beer at the bar. The people in the front were just enjoying the free Wi-Fi and great beer. So there's all these rules and all these techniques I've talked you through, but really, really important. Sometimes you can do everything, but it just takes someone else to come along and yeah, it's quite good. My kids didn't come tonight. And then most importantly, as I said, you can do all this stuff, and then sometimes the fonts don't quite work. So we just wanted to give our mate Kurt, we just wanted to give him a really good name badge. And seriously, they somehow got the font wrong and look what happened. So we're like, Kurt, mate, hey, come into work. So Kurt came in the next week, he came into work the next day and we're like, Kurt, mate, we're really sorry about that, so we made you a cake. I don't know, I don't know what's happening there. So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much for going on a journey into typefaces, and I really hope next quiz night you're at, you can maybe get one question right. Also hope when you go to work tomorrow and you're like, mate, that, was it Steve in IT or Mike in IT or Susie, you could be like, right, I'm going to, change the fonts on their keyboard, make it all Comic Sans. So this is a fantastic book if you are interested in the serious thing. This is where I got a tiny bit of my inspiration from. It's Just My Type by Simon Garfunkel. He, like me, walks around... is it Garfield? Sorry. I really should have worn my glasses. But he kind of does walk around streets and look at typefaces. Once you kind of do that, as I said, you're going to see the world in a different way. But also, you could do some more interesting things like, I read books to my kids, and that's my youngest, Leo. He's asleep. We'd only just started reading. I finished the book 200 pages later. He was asleep. But yeah, it's just great. Just love typefaces. So, thank you very much, as I said again. It's been a pleasure. I do have a question that I'm going to ask everyone, and then you can ask me questions. It's, what do you think the typefaces I've used in the presentation? Maybe just, shout out an answer. Well, technically, you actually bang on. So, Nuhas Grotesque is the name Helvetica was given when it was released in Switzerland. Then they, Monotype bought it and they said, hey, we're going to now make it mass or worldwide, so they changed it to Helvetica. So that is a really interesting fact. Yeah. So thank you. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions, so don't worry, I don't have to be. I've got to be home at 9 for the cricket, so we've got lots of time. Hey, hello.
Do you see any link between, if you look at, if I use, for example, in my family, so Lita's birthday card comes from my grandmother, and very italic, very cursive, and then when I went to primary school, we're quite an old school, where I learned with fountain pens, so that was when you got your pen license, and so I learned to write with fountain pen again, very italic. But then moving forward, like when I was about to start school, and it's the sort of thing where, kids will be given an iPad sort of at age 7, and so handwriting isn't such a... So what I'm sort of saying, do you think there'll be a sort of a change and a switch? So if we look at Times New Roman and our eyes, our brains, is font going to sort of start to move to that more sort of simple, sort of Arial style? Yeah, is handwriting
Yeah. There is. My answer to that question is going to be like slightly off topic, but so they did another thing which they found out what the most readable typeface is for dyslexics, and it's Comic Sans, which was quite funny actually. But it's because of the curves are easy to read. So yeah, I do think there is a big link, and actually. I know Times New Roman was voted the most trustworthy. It's also probably used the most because it's really easy to read at small sizes, because, which I didn't really touch on, and maybe that's another talk, is serifs actually make things easier to read, which is why they're used. So most books are set in something like Times New Roman or a similar serif. So I kind of probably sidestepped your answer, your question, I mean. Yeah. Hey. Yes, so people get paid quite a lot. So in New Zealand, we have a guy called Chris Salisbury who runs a type foundry called Klim. So in the world, say there's 10 top foundries in the world. So Chris is up in probably the top 3 in the world. So it's something like you get paid a couple of different ways. So one is use the typeface in a book. It might cost $200. Use the typeface on a website. So depending on how many hits that website gets, so something like the BBC, the person who made that typeface might be earning $5 to $10,000 a month. Then you times that by the amount of typefaces. Let's just say Chris Salisbury has a very nice house, or very nice houses. He also created, in terms of in New Zealand, he created one of the typefaces that's used on the New York Times, the Guardian in London. So he is up there he's like a rock star in my world, And I'm sure, yeah. Hey. Yes. It's really bad. It is actually really, really bad. So in 2014, it was the 20th anniversary of Comic Sans. So someone brought out a font called Comic Serif. And then in 2014, just to plug myself for a sec, in 2014, I noticed that no one was doing Helvetica. So no one was doing their version of Comic Sans a movie. So I did something called Comic Sans for Cancer. So I got a whole lot of designers around the world to create posters using Comic Sans, which they hated. And on the 20th anniversary, I got lots of designers to change the fonts on their website to Comic Sans. And we raised £20,000 for cancer research, and did some cool stuff, and yeah, it was really cool, but hey, it was good fun. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you. I can't say that. I mean, it's dark. Hey. Yes. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Mate, I have to come back for part 2. Oh, mate. Yeah, Calibre's great, eh? I haven't actually done much research. To be honest, I haven't used it that much. Mate, it's just, I don't think it's that great, eh? Is it your favourite font? Yeah. Yeah. Some of the kerning, is... yeah. Maybe AI can fix that, eh? Yeah. Oh, no. I wish I could. It's super technical to get them to work well. So back to kind of that cost thing. So that's why they cost so much. So you can go onto DaFont, all these cheap font websites, download a typeface, use it in Microsoft Word. And you can just look awful. Yeah. I mean, I recommend if you're using typefaces, go buy them. There's some really, really good ones out there. Helvetica is actually one of my favourites. And it's on most computers. Yeah. Hey.
There was 500,000.
Yep.
Is that including the ones from DaFont, or is there?
Yeah. So it's something like 560,022. And there's probably just another one being made, but then maybe it died. And then if you take away Comic Sans, so there's lots, and just go to good websites or email me. Yeah.
Last one from the back somewhere.
Oh yeah, maybe you can merge your question, eh? Comic serif, yeah.
My question is, do
Yeah, yeah,
PBS
yeah.
is no amount of font with respect to Top Gun is going to make up for not knowing the difference between ensuring the safety of the nation and ensuring the safety of the nation.
Thanks very much, John.
I like that. That was good. Yeah, there's quite a few different reasons. So typefaces have things called glyphs. We're going to get slightly technical. So each typeface has different letters. So A, for example, is really, really well spotted. So some typefaces has 4 or 5 different A's. E's another one, because there are different E's depending on stylistic interpretations and depending on basically how it looks. So you could have an E which has a certain loop to it or a different loop, A's with different forms to it. So yeah, there are lots of different ways of doing it. It's like, whether someone thinks something looks good or not, it's up to interpretation. Yeah.